You don't remember signing up for it. There was no big decision. No dramatic moment. Just a tap. A quick confirmation. Maybe a free trial. And now, every month, your money leaves quietly. No resistance. No reminder. No friction. Just, gone. A man checks his bank statement on a random Tuesday night. Nothing unusual at first. Groceries. Rent. Fuel. Then a few small charges. 199 Indian rupees. 349 Indian rupees. 99 Indian rupees. 499 Indian rupees. Individually, they barely register. He scrolls past them. But if you pause right there and actually look, those numbers tell a very different story. Because those aren't just expenses. They're subscriptions. Ongoing. Automatic. Invisible. And together, they form a system most people don't even realize they're part of. We tend to think of spending as something we choose. You decide to buy something. You pay for it. Transaction complete. But subscriptions don't work like that. They remove the decision entirely. You don't choose to spend each month. The system chooses for you. And that small shift, from active decision to passive payment, changes everything. Let's go back a few years. Before subscriptions became the default. You wanted a movie? You bought a ticket. You needed software? You paid once. You listened to music? You owned it. Now, you subscribe. To entertainment. To productivity. To fitness. To storage. To convenience. Even things you used to own are now rented. At first, it felt like progress. Lower upfront cost. More flexibility. Access instead of ownership. And on the surface, it made sense. Why pay 10,000 Indian rupees upfront when you can pay 199 Indian rupees a month? Why commit when you can cancel anytime? That last part matters. Cancel anytime. It sounds like control. Freedom, even. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't cancel. Not because they can't. Because they don't think about it. Subscriptions don't rely on force. They rely on forgetfulness. Let's break this down. When you make a one-time purchase, there's friction. You feel the cost. You evaluate the value. You decide. With subscriptions, that friction happens once. At the beginning. After that? Silence. No repeated decision. No ongoing evaluation. Just a background process quietly running in your financial life. And the human brain adapts quickly. What feels like a cost at the beginning soon feels like nothing at all. 199 Indian rupees doesn't feel like a loss. 499 Indian rupees doesn't feel like a problem. But stack them. 5 subscriptions. 10. 15. Now you're looking at thousands per month. But even then, it doesn't feel urgent. Because it's fragmented. Scattered. Hidden in plain sight. That's the design. No single subscription is meant to hurt you. They're not priced to create resistance. They're priced to disappear. And when something disappears, you stop questioning it. Now let's zoom out. Because this isn't just about a few apps. It's about a business model. Companies have figured out something powerful. Predictability is more valuable than profit per transaction. A one-time sale is uncertain. A subscription is reliable. From their perspective, it's perfect. Monthly revenue. Steady cash flow. Long-term customer retention. And here's where it gets interesting. They don't need you to use the product. They just need you to stay subscribed. Think about that. The gym you rarely visit. The streaming service you haven't opened in weeks. The app you downloaded for one specific task and forgot. They're still getting paid. Because the system doesn't depend on usage. It depends on inertia. And inertia is powerful. Once something becomes part of your routine, you don't revisit it. You don't question it. You just continue. Now layer in psychology. Free trials. Limited time offers. Introductory pricing. You sign up thinking you'll try it. Maybe cancel later. But later never comes. Because cancellation requires effort. Remembering. Logging in. Navigating settings. Confirming decisions. Sometimes, even a little friction. Just enough to make you postpone it. I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes next month. Which becomes another charge. And another. This is not accidental. It's engineered. Not in an obvious, manipulative way. But in subtle, optimized layers. Reduce sign-up friction. Increase cancellation friction. Keep pricing low enough to feel insignificant. And let time do the rest. Because time is what turns a small monthly fee into a large cumulative cost. Let's do the math. 300 Indian rupees a month. Doesn't sound like much. Over a year? 3,600 Indian rupees. Over 5 years? 18,000 Indian rupees. Now multiply that by multiple subscriptions. Suddenly, you're not looking at small money anymore. You're looking at opportunity cost. Because that money didn't just disappear. It was redirected. Away from savings. Away from investments. Away from anything that could have grown. And toward something you might not even use anymore. This is where the trap deepens. Subscriptions don't just take money. They take awareness. You stop seeing your spending clearly. You lose track of where your money is actually going. And when awareness drops, control follows. Now compare this to a different kind of expense. Rent. Food. Utilities. You feel those. You track them. You plan around them. But subscriptions? They slip through unnoticed. And that's why they're so effective. Because they operate below your attention threshold. Now let's talk about scale. This isn't just happening to you. It's happening to millions of people. Individually, each subscription is small. Collectively, it's massive. Entire industries have shifted toward this model. Software, media, education, health, even physical products. Everything is becoming a service. Because ownership ends the relationship. Subscriptions extend it. Indefinitely. And from a business standpoint, that's incredibly powerful. But from a personal finance standpoint, it introduces a new kind of risk. Not sudden loss. But slow leakage. The kind that doesn't trigger alarm. The kind that compounds quietly over time. Now here's the irony. Most people focus on big financial decisions. Buying a car. Investing in stocks. Choosing a job. But ignore the small, recurring ones. Even though those small decisions happen far more frequently. And often have a larger cumulative impact. Because you don't make them once. You make them every month. Automatically. Without thinking. This is where the system wins. Not by forcing you into bad decisions. But by removing the need to decide at all. Now imagine something different. Imagine every subscription required manual renewal. Every single month. You had to actively choose. Do I still want this? Is it worth it? How many would you keep? Probably fewer than you have now. Because awareness changes behavior. And behavior shapes outcomes. But the current system is designed to minimize that awareness. Because the less you think, the more you stay. Now let's bring this back to you. Open your banking app. Look at the last 30 days. Count how many recurring charges you see. Not the obvious ones. The small ones. The ones that feel harmless. Then ask a simple question. If this renewed today, would I sign up again? Not based on the past. But based on now. Because that's where clarity begins. Not in cutting everything. Not in extreme decisions. Just in noticing. Because once you notice, the system becomes visible. And once it's visible, you can interact with it differently. Not reactively, but intentionally. Because subscriptions, on their own, are not the problem. They're tools. Useful ones. But tools without awareness become systems of control. Quiet ones. Now zoom out one final time. The modern economy is shifting toward convenience. Frictionless experiences. Automatic everything. And subscriptions fit perfectly into that world. They remove effort. Simplify access. Create consistency. But they also blur boundaries. Between need and habit. Between value and inertia. And over time, those blurred lines shape your financial reality. Not dramatically, but persistently. So the next time you see a small charge on your account, pause. Not to panic. Not to overreact. Just to ask a different question. Is this still serving me, or am I just serving it? Because the answer to that question repeats every month. Quietly. And over time, it decides more than you think.